my shortcomings, then talk, I'm called upon. Taking these out of the feeling of controlling through it all, I'm slipping with the feeling, pit of on. So been told I'm not the nicest person that you'll ever get to know. Let it be known, let it be known. Let it be known, let it be known. I never wanted to be anybody's anything, and I never wanted to be anybody's anything, and I never wanted to be anybody's anything, and I never wanted to be anybody's anything at all. Anybody's anything at all. Anybody's anything at all. No. Anybody's anything at all. At all. Anybody's anything.
Axis eliminated.
Ways to set the world ablaze, tracks played, untamed bass, raps unchained. Overseers on the sky turn gray. Doomsday, tidal waves from the US to the UK.
Allies eliminated.
Back against the wall, I stand tall, face the grid. No decibel, no pass, no
Allies
level.
eliminated.
My method of madness is this: sadness, gladness, all emotions evoke. Those provoke, beats come cloaked and dagged, torn and tattered. Sleep to dream, dreams get shattered. Witness sound, transform to matter. Bone, 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 electric plasma. Bone, electric plasma. It's ironic.
Allies win.
Come on!
eliminated.
it all away. And I can feel you breathing, and it's
Allies eliminated.
keeping me awake. Can you feel it beating? My heart's sinking like a
Allies
wave.
eliminated.
I can feel you breathing, and it's keeping me awake. Inside my heart, it's always beating, sinking like a wave.
Axis eliminated. Allies win. Allies eliminated.
I got my head checked by a jumbo jet. It wasn't easy, but I mean it.
Allies eliminated.
When I feel heavy metal, and I feel that I need when I lie and I make it all of the time, but I'm never sure why I make you. I got my head down when I was young.
Explosives planted! Defend the boat
It's
site!
not my problem.
Axis eliminated.
It's not my
Allies win.
problem.
Axis eliminated.
When I feel heavy metal, and I feel that I need when I lie and I'm easy, all of the time, but I'm never sure why please let me down.
Explosives planted! Defend the bomb site!
Axis eliminated. Allies win.
Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Oh, Miss Lucy dead and gone, left me here to weep and moan. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Oh, Miss Lucy dead and gone, left me here